In this video, I'll show you how to install Exalate on your ServiceNow instance. We have the Exalate documentation opened up here, and I'll use it as my primary reference. On the documentation page, scroll down, select ServiceNow, and click Check Tutorial. To set up our integration, we start by installing Exalate for ServiceNow, so let's click Start. This takes you to the ServiceNow installation page. From here, I'll walk you through the installation step by step. First, you need to request an Exalate for ServiceNow evaluation license. You can do that by going to the Exalate integrations page. On this page, click the Try Exalate for ServiceNow button under the ServiceNow icon. You are redirected to a page where you can request your 30-day trial. Click Request your trial and fill up the short form. Once you've done that and submit the form, our team will provide you with the Exalate node URL for ServiceNow, along with a license key. Keep these details handy as we'll need them later on. This is what the email looks like. If you don't get an email, you can always reach out to our support team. The next step is to deploy the Exalate Bridge app. The Exalate Bridge app is a ServiceNow certified app that connects your ServiceNow environment with the Exalate app. It's designed to simplify access to the Exalate for ServiceNow service. If you have a ServiceNow production environment, you can directly install the Exalate Bridge app from the ServiceNow store. However, ServiceNow dev environments cannot install applications directly from the ServiceNow store. So, we need to set up the Exalate Bridge app in the ServiceNow dev instance using an update set. I'll show you how to do this step by step. The first step is to download the Exalate update package from the link given in the documentation. In your ServiceNow instance, go to System Update Sets and select Retrieved Update Sets. Next, under Related Links, click Import Update Set from XML. Choose the XML file from your device and click Upload. Now, click on the Exalate Update Set and select Preview Update Set. It takes a few seconds for the preview to run. Click Close once it finishes successfully. If you get an error while previewing the update set, go to Update Set Preview Problems and click Accept Remote Update. Now it's time to commit the update set. Click Close once the commit is complete. Alright. It's time to configure your Exalate for ServiceNow instance by setting up user roles and permissions. As shown in the documentation here, you need to go to System Security, Users and Groups, and select Users, where you need to add a new role. So, head over to your ServiceNow instance and go to Users. I selected the current user, admin, for this example. On the user screen, click the Roles tab and the Edit button. Search for the xidnv exabridge.admin role and add it to the user, and click Save. Now it's time to configure the property Exalate for ServiceNow URL. In your ServiceNow instance, search for Exalate in the main menu. select the option Exalate App URL. Click here in the yellow status bar at the top of the screen to edit the record. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a text box where you need to provide the Exalate ServiceNow node URL. You have already received this URL in your inbox, so copy and paste it in the text box, provide it, and click Save. Alright, now you need to configure the Exalate integration user. With Exalate, you can have one user to access the Exalate console and a second user to act as a proxy user. The proxy user doesn't necessarily need to be an admin user, but the Exalate console user needs to be a ServiceNow administrator by default. I'm going to create a new user to access the Exalate console. For this, go to your ServiceNow instance and navigate to Users as we did a while ago. Click New. Enter the details of this user based on your needs. I'm giving the user an ID called Exalate Integration, but you can give it any other name. Enter the additional details. Once you enter all the information, make sure the user is set to active and the Web Service Access Only checkbox is checked, and save any changes you make. Now this user needs the xidnv exabridge.integration role. This role would add the import scheduler, import set loader, import transformer, and SNC platform REST API access capabilities. It will also add the ACL capability on sysjournal fields. You also need to configure some additional roles if you want to sync certain ServiceNow entities. So let's go back to our ServiceNow instance and add these roles now. Alright, finally we'll configure the login access to our Exalate for ServiceNow node. In your ServiceNow instance, type Exalate and select Console from the options. This will open your Exalate for ServiceNow console. The very first time you see the page, you need to accept the EULA. Next, you need to fill in a few details like the ServiceNow node URL, proxy user, and proxy password. You'll get the ServiceNow URL from your browser. Copy it and paste it in the text box provided. You can either choose to authenticate via basic auth or using an OAuth token. I'll use the basic auth in this video. For the basic auth method, let's first generate the password for the proxy user. In your ServiceNow instance, head back to Users and search for the Exalate integration user we've created. Click on the Set Password button and generate a password. Make sure to store it safely for future use, and then click Save Password and close the panel. Let's go back to the Exalate console. Enter the proxy user as Exalate integration, and the password should be the one we've just copied. Copy the license key you have received in your inbox and paste it here, and click Save. Alright, that's it. Now you can use your admin account credentials to log into your Exalate for ServiceNow instance. And great, we're in. This is the main Exalate console page, where you can start creating and configuring connections with other systems. The General Settings page displays the proxy user credentials, and you can configure them if you want. And we're good to go. You've successfully installed Exalate on your ServiceNow instance and are ready to sync your first entity.